Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Rant. Dr. Sombers with my co-host JJ, also known as Junior.
Hi.
I started to be faster than last time.
We're here.
Faster?
I don't think you could beat last time. Last time was probably the fastest you've been.
Speed running shorts?
Yeah.
That's not what we're talking about. That's just a reference to the thing here.
Anyway, so we were trying to come up with a topic for today. All right, because that's always how it is. We always okay, 5 minutes before we press record, what are we going to talk about today? For some reason, because we don't plan things like normal people do.
That makes it more fun, because then we have the chaos of figuring out what the hell we're talking about during the chaos.
So we went on several different tangents of different subjects we could talk about.
And we have some ideas coming up.
We bookmarked 2 that we could come back to later on after we do some looking into stuff. And then, we just start rambling about something we could talk about. And I'm just okay, stop talking. Let's just press record and we can continue. So today we're just going to talk about some new updates on consoles and stuff that are coming out. I guess the Switch has some stuff. I know Xbox has some rumors going around, and PlayStation also, just not in necessarily the wars terms or what's going to be better, but just updates and discussions.
Yeah, because at this point, you kind of sit in there, Xbox officially has already said PlayStation's pretty much won, and when you look at the numbers, PlayStation rules most of the bigger countries in Asia and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And then we're also going to maybe try to mention some VR stuff maybe, because that's still so new. So we're just going to kind of mention anything, because I don't know if I can ever get into VR just because of motion sickness and stuff.
Yeah.
But that doesn't mean it's a bad thing, right? Just going to talk about some updates, because I think it's definitely interesting. And I think this is the type of thing that even if Xbox doesn't win, we need something like Xbox to be with PlayStation to help each other out. Make each other better.
Yeah, I agree. Seth, hold on. I forgot to turn my sign on.
So while we're playing this, I'm actually going to be playing Pet Simulator 99 on Roblox.
Okay. I turned my sign on.
It's going to be great.
Grab a soda.
Sprite?
I got a soda.
Oh, I got a Sprite. I've been drinking Sprite.
Okay.
Since you kind of messaged me out of nowhere, I didn't get...
Ready?
Okay.
Crisp. That's what I'm talking about. All right.
Free episode.
Anyways,
we are not the normal stupid podcast that we were thinking about talking the other day. On Rumble and stuff. We're special.
We're
I don't know
very
if it's
special.
in a good way though.
Okay, so what were you saying about the Switch?
All right, so I wanted to say how the Switch 2 is going to be coming out soon, or announced soon, right? Because how old do you think the Switch is?
6 years?
I think it's 7.
I was
Let's see.
close.
When did the Switch...
I think it was 2018, right?
When did Toy Story come out? That's not what I said, Google. That's not what I said. When did... Okay. One moment. When did... 2017. That's... Yep. 7 years. That's crazy.
Close.
And so that's going to be coming out. And we had the slim version, I guess you can
The
call
light.
it, kind of like PlayStation. The light. Well, I don't know about... Not the light. I was talking
Not
about the
the
OLED.
Oh, the OLED wasn't... The Slim was less power than the original, wasn't it?
No, it's the same. I'm just saying, quote unquote, it's just a slightly updated model with, it's not a Pro. It's just slightly different.
Well, I would almost say that was
same.
the Pro equivalent for the Switch, because when it comes to Switch, and especially Nintendo consoles, there's not much they can nor
I guess
want
it could
to
be the
upgrade
Pro.
because, it's Nintendo. Their goal is to keep it so that, you don't have to have the best graphics because it's a handheld device, It's not built for that. So in terms of upgrading, there's not much else they could do except for upgrade that display, make it brighter, make it look sharper, and that's what the OLED was for. So I'd say that is pretty much the Switch Pro. The Switch, Slim, I guess, would be the light version, which was, no detachable Joy-Cons and I think less space.
I don't know about the space.
I think there was one other feature that got downgraded for it, but
anyway, so we haven't really had a proper big upgrade like you said, because they don't really do that. But they're going to have to do something, right? The Switch can't stay the Switch because as games evolve, you look at the iPhone 15, and they actually bought the rights to some games, and I forget if it was Assassin's Creed. It's some games you could quite literally run straight on the iPhone. fancy graphics and everything straight on there, no cloud streaming. So why would I need a Switch if my handheld, if I have a brand new iPhone and I can be playing my PlayStation and Xbox games?
Because
why
the
would I
Switch
ever
is
need
the
a
third the
handheld
price of an
console?
iPhone.
Huh?
The Switch
But
is
then
the
I
third.
can also do everything else, and I can also make it look better and run better. And who knows what VR can do and AR tech can do.
Yeah, you got a point. I just feel like Apple's not the best example to use there.
I know, but but I'm just saying, like, if you have that and Switch and Android can do the same thing, I mean, I forget what it was. I heard rumors of like a handheld device with like a Snapdragon, one of the newer Snapdragon chips. So like, if they can do the same thing, why would you need the Switch? And the Switch has been around for, like we said, 7 years. So it's about time that by the time we have 2 generations of the main console systems, we're gonna have to get something new from Nintendo. So our boy Johnny Razor from Shorts Wars, if you know him, I joked about it at the beginning. He was saying, what if the dock is the customizable part? And if you want, say, better storage, you can put storage on the dock. If you want a graphics card, you can, like, put a graphics card component in the dock. And when you take its handheld, it's still basic, but then you upgrade it almost like a computer with the dock.
That could be a really cool idea. However, I don't know if Nintendo would go that route, mostly because they are the kind of people who don't want you to kind of upgrade your systems. They're like, here, buy an extra Joy-Con, or, buy an Amiibo that don't actually, improve anything. They like selling secondary objects, but they don't sell any upgrades for practically anything. Like,
so
aside from the Switch Pro controller, I don't think they've released anything that's like, the Xbox Elite controller, expansion storage cards.
The last upgrade was the one of the original consoles to have color.
Yeah. I don't think they're the kind of people to do that kind of thing. That's not to say it's not a good idea, because, no console's really done that before. You can't crack open your Xbox and, improve its processor chip or whatever.
Yeah. Johnny Razor also said that the chances of that happening are slim. But the reason he brought this up, I do have a reason to maybe make it more plausible. The reason he brought it up, let's just look at some of the other consoles they had, like the Wii to the Wii U.
Yeah.
That, like, the Wii U was the sequel. They're very different compared to the PS3 to 4, Xbox 360 to 1.
Mm-hmm.
So we're trying to think outside the box of just a Switch 2. Now, I could also see Nintendo, if they did do something like that, what if they made it to, they did some code or something, or some hardware for, like, connection, where you have to buy Nintendo licensed products to upgrade. Like, I can't just use a graphics card, I have to use the Nintendo Switch 2 graphics card upgrade.
I mean, I could see something like that if they decided to go that route, because technically Xbox has already done that with their Seagate chips, like the expansion cards for Xbox. Literally only that one brand makes those, so you cannot use any other expansion cards for Xbox, because you have to be licensed to make them by Xbox.
For PlayStation, they do need, like, specific support. I'm not sure if it's PlayStation support, but, it needs a little bit more specifics to work.
I can plug in. I can plug in a USB hard drive to my Xbox. Like, there is still that, but they kind of limited the fast loading time. What's the word I'm looking for? Privilege, I guess, to those cards specifically. That way, you're more inclined to buy the high-priced Xbox licensed item.
Yeah, and I was also going to say another reason why I could see Nintendo doing this is the fact that we look at all these other companies, and Nintendo, I feel like, does a lot of their own thing, like their console, their games, their rights. So if they're already making their own console, why wouldn't they just sell parts of their console?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So that was just a complete theory that Johnny Razor had, and I just wanted to bring that up because I figured maybe we could talk about the other updates, so we could just kind of theorize what we'd want with a PS6, or maybe theorize what the hell Xbox's name is gonna be, because they don't like being conventional either.
Yeah, that's a very good point.
We have the Xbox 360 one, then we have letters, then we just have the PlayStation 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Yeah. Goodness. Well, okay, so I'm not sure if you've heard. Have you heard any of the Xbox rumors recently?
Recently, no. Because I don't really keep up, but I know like I hear bits and pieces while scrolling through YouTube Shorts because tech stuff. But the last time I really heard any big leaks or news was the Pringle can, which we covered in our other episodes. So if you want to hear a lot about the Xbox leaks, we have an episode on that.
Yeah, so
from a while ago now, actually.
That was a while ago, shockingly. But yeah, the recent rumors that have been circulating around have been that and this came from a pretty credible leaker as far as I know. From the repeat leaker that I saw, he said that this person was pretty reliable in the past. Xbox is planning to release their next console, not just like a Series X like Pro, nothing like that. Their next console within the next 3 years. Which is insane because the series have only been out for, 2 or 3 already? And console generations in the past have lasted at minimum 8. So if they release their next higher tech console within the next 3 years, and it somehow is better than whatever PlayStation has for their Pro lined up, that would force PlayStation's hand and cause them to try and rush out their next generation of console because Xbox will then have the upper hand for the entirety of the time it takes them to get out their next generation.
So the reason here's what I'd say to that though is hard because you got to realize that this is more than just beating PlayStation. This is the developers. They have to then if they released another generation of console with different tech because it's fancier and all that stuff and newer, then all the people that are make games, they're gonna have to make stuff for the PS5. I don't think the Pro or the whatever if they have the digital one for Xbox, like their in-between console, I don't think those were going to have different. They're just going to have like slightly better processing. So the game making would be the same, but then they'd have to make games for the PS5, 2 generations of Xbox, and then the PlayStation. Would they really want to make stuff for the new generation?
Here's my thing.
Everyone already has the PS5.
Not necessarily.
And cloud gaming.
I want to point this out because specifically when it comes to Xbox One and Xbox Series X, games have been able to be on one disc but work on both consoles and have settings that adapt to each console. So when it comes to Xbox's next series, what's to say that it won't work on all 3 for one disc, right? They're doing it in a way that makes it so that all of them are compatible with each other. It doesn't matter what generation your disc came from, it will be compatible, right? And it might come to a point where, a certain one is too old for a game because it uses such high-tech features, but I don't think it's going to be a case of, they have to develop 2 separate versions of the game. Because even if you go and look at, the typical Xbox, physical game case, it used to say, Xbox 360 or Xbox One. But since the series, it's just said Xbox. And that goes for games that were made for the Xbox One and made for the Series X. They both just say Xbox. And my theory is that the plan for that was because why develop a game case that, says a specific console on it if your plan ahead is to just have it work for all of your future consoles?
So here's what I think really helps Xbox in that situation is I think just their investment in cloud streaming. I wonder if that helps with the disc just automatically updating per device. Whereas on PlayStation, I have to download the PS4 or PS5 version because it switches FPS, graphics, all this and stuff, right? It feels very different. So I wonder if Xbox's cloud streaming technology and performance and stuff has helped them achieve that.
Yeah, I mean, in that vein, what if, we already know that discs these days are nothing more than keys, really, to access the game you buy, because you still have to do this massive download, even if you buy a physical game. So what if that disc just works as a key for each generation, right? It allows you to download that generation's version of the game. So possibly, say, for example, Diablo 4 had an edition for Xbox One and Xbox Series. And putting in the disc for it just allowed me to download the One or Series version of the game.
Probably. Yeah, I can see that. Yeah. I mean, and the other reason, like you were saying with Xbox cloud streaming, I mean, we kind of talked about it in our last Xbox episode. It's kind of already seems like they're trying to go more on the cloud streaming side of things. So if they want to make all their consoles, every console moving forward, right? Like if you want to play Xbox One games, here's Xbox One games. If you want to play the brand new generation, use your Xbox One with cloud streaming or something.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I have a
Obviously,
feeling
maybe
cloud
not the
streaming is
Xbox
definitely
One,
going to
but the
become
series maybe.
much heavier in the future. I think there's a high chance that they lean into it harder. The only problem with that is, internet connection, right? Not everybody has the fast internet connection that you need to play cloud streamed games. And while you can technically play games offline, I think you have to connect to a network every 30 days or something like that in order for it to register that, I don't know, the console license is still valid, blah, 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 stuff like that. But it's kind of a society situation right now where they can't make that move until society all reaches a common ground where everybody has a reliable enough internet for that.
Which is hard when we're talking about some of these upgrades too. That's why I was thinking it's just hard because do you want to make that change when so many people already are still getting the new consoles, right? We still are seeing people struggle to, look at Christmas. My friend said he went to Best Buy when he went to Best Buy over the first few days of the new year, and all the shelves he said were completely full with Xboxes. They're completely empty. People are still buying out the new Xboxes and PlayStations.
Yeah.
So imagine the struggle it's going to be when a new generation comes out, or if anything, the chance of it being a flop. Not because it's bad, because people are like, I just got my new Xbox. Do I really need a new one?
Mm-hmm.
So it's iffy on that. Again, not saying because it's Xbox or anything, just the chances of the whole gaming industry as a whole, right? The developers, the consumers. That's definitely an interesting topic.
I mean, and yeah, here's the idea, right? What if that leak with the Pringle can was true? And then we combine it with this leak we're hearing now that would be their next generation instead of just an improved X. That would imply that is a strictly digital and possibly even strictly cloud streaming console. So even though this wouldn't be a digital Series X console, it would be a completely separate series. What if Xbox is launching a cloud series console?
Type C, Series C?
Kind of, along those lines, yeah. So, they have their classic, disc console, the Series X. They have their digital console, the Series S. And then they have their cloud console, the Series C, sure. Or Series P for Pringle. We can go with that. So, what if they, instead of, releasing a new generation now, are just going to upgrade the X from this point forward? If they choose to retitle it, so be it. But then
X2,
also have this
S2.
third series that, no other console brand has, and kind of lean further into what they've been dumping their cash flow into for the past, decade,
Yeah.
That way
That'd be
people have the
interesting.
option, if they know they have strong enough internet, to go with that cloud console, the one they don't have to wait for downloads. They don't have to use physical discs if they don't want to. Stuff like that. It's going to have higher storage. It's going to be, pretty good graphics, at least on par with the Series X, if not better. Or,
So
if
here's
they're,
an idea.
a truist, they can go with the classics.
Yeah. Here's an idea that I was thinking of while you're saying that. What if they take something from the PS5, where they take the visuals of it, but then they actually make it functional, and what if they make the Series P an actual Wi-Fi router? Imagine if it had Wi-Fi coming straight out of the console itself, and maybe it's cheaper, or it's Microsoft Wi-Fi, because Microsoft is huge already. What if they made their own Wi-Fi network? And that's how you connect to their servers better and faster, because it's directly through them.
I mean, that's a good idea in concept, but I think just in terms of what Microsoft is aiming at right now, internet isn't something that's really in their cards. Because, if you look at what has launched internet in the past few years, we have Google. That's about it. apart from, our big brands that already exist, the small brands use those big brands, and the only one that's launched a solo internet network is Google, and that's it. And they're not
Starlink.
even making a lot of money on. Okay, fine, Starlink, whatever, satellites, blah. But you have Google. So if Microsoft tried to launch something, I don't know if that would quite work for them. Not to mention the fact that the complexity of working in a Wi-Fi router to a gaming console, I don't know if it'd be that small.
But okay, well, I mean, isn't it like you can get the enhancers that are like the size of a thin like your hand, maybe not your palm, but like your full hand.
Our home internet right now is a little bit smaller than my Series X. It's about the size of my console, just a little smaller. We had a hotspot a little while back, and that was about the size of my phone. The hotspot was significantly weaker than the router, I guess.
Yeah.
If they want a strong enough signal to cloud stream games, they're going to need something the size of that router.
Well, here's the other thing that I don't think either of us really know is what can they combine with those two? With the game console and the router? Like the components themselves that could just work for both.
Can't imagine there'd be too many because they are like completely different pieces of technology.
I mean, would it be if it is a cloud streaming / digital? Like all that stuff that's already doing
systems
that
and
connection?
that thing alone would have to be unreal. Like
I didn't
with
think
the
of
heat that a console
I didn't-
gets and then the heat that your Wi-Fi router produces, if they're running like cloud games in the same enclosed space, you would have to have some amazing fans to cool that thing efficiently.
I didn't think of the fans. I want to be completely honest. Okay.
Yeah.
So my idea's there. Maybe just not the technology yet.
Yeah. That's like a 20 years in the future kind of thing, you know?
Just have to wait and see, guys, as always.
Yeah.
But like, I was just thinking that because like, another thing that we could possibly think about with that is if Microsoft did do that, what if they just added that as a tier 2 Game Pass? What if you got Wi-Fi?
I very much
with,
see that happening. Like with what they're trying to build Game Pass to be, it very much seems like I'm not sure if you know this, but just recently, this is a bit off topic, but Amazon launched a healthcare program. And you get $100 off healthcare if you're a Prime subscriber.
I might have to look into that.
So it's
I need some healthcare.
right. No, but like it's pretty interesting. Like these companies are trying to basically be your one-stop shop for all of your like basic needs. I wouldn't put it out of the picture if, they tried to work something like that into Game Pass, or at least gave you a discount if you're a Game Pass subscriber.
And I see that from Microsoft versus something like Sony. I don't see Sony doing something like that. But like, imagine if Microsoft, for like $30, $40, $50 a month, which seems like a lot, you get full like 5 gig Wi-Fi, you get all these games, you get online play, and then what if you add like Hulu in there or something?
Mm-hmm. Game Pass would be all you would need in order to play your favorite games, cloud stream or not.
Yeah. So I do like fully think Wi-Fi is a possibility of the console, but just maybe not the router itself.
Yeah.
Yet.
Mm-hmm.
Xbox, if you do that, I'm calling royalties in 20 years if I don't get credit on that patent.
Oh, bro, imagine.
You'd be so bad too because I'm a PlayStation fanboy. You'd be so pissed that I
like,
got to
give me the royalties.
Xbox.
I'm the person who uses it.
Anyway, so that's the talk. Is there anything else? Also, now that you do mention that though, the whole new console in a few years, I do remember seeing some stuff like that, some leaks on a new console fairly shortly.
Yeah.
Compared to previous generations, I should say.
But like the main idea was the fact that aside from what that would mean for Xbox, that would mean quite a bit for PlayStation's game. Like if in the next year or two they have to come out with the PS5 Pro, what happens to their next gen consoles? That 6 years down the line? Well, newsflash, Xbox released theirs in 2. So now they got to
No,
start
the
pumping out
PS
theirs in order to compete.
The Pro, I believe, is coming out this year. But let's look. When did the PS4 come out?
Console
PS4 come
generations
out.
usually last 8 years. Believe that was how long this one was.
The PS4 came out in 2013. When did the Pro come out? PS4 Pro 2016. So that was 3 years later. So then when did the PS5 come out?
2020?
2020. So yeah, 3-4 years then. So what's that? That's 7 years from the 4 to the 5. So yeah, like 2-3 years. It'd be a little shorter, but I could still see it at most being a year after Xbox's console. Which, I mean, I also want to be completely honest. How many times has Xbox released a console first? It's not going to be the biggest thing, because generally PlayStation, I think, did it first. Other than the very first Xbox console, because PlayStation already was existing.
Yeah, I think PlayStation has led the charge on that, but I don't know. It's tricky because obviously they're working on them both at the same time. It's just, when they choose to release them that matters.
Yeah, and I also want to say the big thing, I feel like that would almost hurt/benefit each other, is you just got to look at what they're trying to do. PlayStation is still trying to be a gaming thing. Sure, I think we can both agree the PSQ or Project V or whatever it is, not taken well. But they have their own VR system, which I don't think Xbox has like a Xbox VR, right? Like it works with other stuff. But then you look at Xbox, and we've talked about this before, like with the Xbox One, it's trying to be more of a home device with like streaming and stuff. So I almost wonder if this new Pringle console, what if it is a router that is for streaming and it is directly more towards the home side of things? What if it's cheaper because it just directly streams and it has a better hotspot, right? Like to your router. So it has better Wi-Fi for it. Do you see what I'm saying?
I do.
I'm just rambling, thinking out loud. Like, you could
Here's
totally say
here's
I'm
my
wrong.
thing. I don't
just
see
thinking
how
out
they
loud.
would be able to integrate that with their current ecosystem, because while like that's a good idea and it's definitely part of what they already are, I think their whole thing right now is Game Pass. And so if they come out with a media console that's mostly for like streaming and is really good at internet, like how are they going to integrate that with Game Pass?
Cloud streaming. I mean, we look at the Stadia, right? Like, the Stadia was very small, and it was able to run. Obviously, that didn't do very well. But imagine having the backing of an already existing console like Xbox.
But then they're building a console for cloud streaming, not a console for home media. It would just be what an Xbox already is, built for cloud streaming. Because like an Xbox is already a media console. It's already a great media console. And so they would just be reusing the already set media features they have and just making a console for cloud streaming.
But maybe it's just not the best because maybe it, like storage isn't as great, right? Because it's not for it. Sure, you can, well, I guess you want to need storage, right? For cloud streaming?
Yeah.
Who knows? Like I said, I'm just thinking out loud.
It is.
Just random ideas, stuff that we talked about already for Xbox, like for the possibility of all these different things.
Yeah.
Because some things I feel like, and I know you keep saying like a gaming console generation's 8 years. How many generations have we actually had with these two consoles? Like 3?
There is Xbox, Xbox 360, Xbox One, and now the Series. So 3 generations, a 4th incomplete one.
So we can't really say, because the other thing is we have to look at technology as well. Like, and I feel like with AI and all these different things,
take what you will,
technology
but
itself is
the
improving.
makers of the consoles themselves say that they shoot for 8 years. So like this is just me quoting them. Like they have said like in interviews and stuff like, "Oh, how long do you hope this generation will last?" And they're like, "Oh, we tend to try and, aim for 8 years before we think, people need an upgrade."
But that could also totally be throwing the other party off because they're both like, let's do 8, and then surprise everyone, here's it in 6 or 7. Because guess what? I don't care how much you like any company, they're companies. You cannot 100% take them at face value, no matter what they say. So that could totally be just a ploy.
Yeah.
So that's just a fact. That's just a fact of our especially America. But I don't think Sony's out of that too with capitalism and all that. So it's just something we're gonna have to wait and see. But I do think it's gonna be interesting to see what Xbox does this year, because I do think the PS5 Pro is coming out.
Yeah.
And then it'd be interesting to see if we get the Pringle can this year or not.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I think if they were going to launch a Series X Pro or whatever, it probably would have like at least been leaked by now. And I don't think that was the Pringle can. I think that's probably either a fabrication or something completely different.
So we'll see. Unless, what else could Xbox do? Maybe not a Wi-Fi router, but I'm trying to think, like, other than just like an addition to the Xbox or something. What if you get a fridge that on it, then you place the Xbox in to cool it down as a coolant? You gotta,
bruh. Goodness. I'm not sure what like more they could really do. Like there are obvious like, create, a first party like controller charger with like batteries and stuff like that. Cause like right now we only have third party ones for that as far as I know. They could, they already did like the Xbox like style wrap things. Like there's not much in terms of upgrading the console itself that they could do. That's just like releasing a small component.
I'm just trying to think of like, other than a Pro version, what else could they do as a mid like refresh to the generation? Because I don't think they're going to be trying to pull off Connect anytime soon.
They already released a second edition of the Series S that had more storage, but like aside from that,
I feel like that's
really
the same as like the Switch OLED, which is an increase, but not something that you have to say get the new console. Right? Like I feel like, especially depending on how stuff goes, I'm not going to be getting the PS Pro, especially when you just get all this other stuff. We'll see, unless maybe I can trade in my PS5. We'll see what the costs are like when it comes out.
Yeah.
But generally, you don't need... The Pro is something that you really do try to strive for. Extra storage or a fancier screen, especially for the Switch when you're trying to put it to your TV anyway, isn't that big of a deal, I feel like, versus a Pro model. So storage is just an addition, I feel like. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's hard. I don't know. Do you think we're gonna know by the end of the year? Do you think maybe they don't have anything because they're trying to push this other console out sooner? So instead of focusing on a Pro version, they're just not doing it.
Yeah, I think
actually,
by the end of the
Xbox,
year we're gonna have more info. Almost.
Do you
definitely.
think did the Xbox One have a Pro?
Xbox One had the Xbox One S and X.
Oh yeah. Okay. What was the difference between the S and X?
The S was the slim. I think it had a little less storage, so it was cheaper. And then the X was just like upgraded, like I think graphically and speed wise.
Okay. I think that's really all we know so far. For the big ones, I should say.
So
anything else?
What do we know as of now about PlayStation's, Pro? Like, is there any like solid leak information that we have, or just that it's coming?
Nothing that I really I've looked into, because this was just kind of a random thing I threw out there. We just kind of ramble for a bit. PS5 Pro. PS5. Okay, the first thing, Tom's guide. Take this with a grain of salt, because I don't have any verification of any of this. There's no definitive launch date. Yeah, we knew that. Latest rumors. Try to think. Alright.
Currently scrolling an article.
Yeah, no, not too short. Oh yeah, I had another question, because this one guy in the server I was in, the anime server, he was telling me I should really try to get computer, like build my own computer. And I'm like, well, one, I don't have room, right? I don't really want to try to have a box anywhere. And two, it's expensive to get to the level of a like good PlayStation or Xbox, right, to get 120 FPS and everything.
Mhm.
And he's telling me the new consoles can't do 120. What do you feel about that? My PS5 is not running 120 FPS on Fortnite, though my monitor switches to 120 hertz. And I clearly see the FPS counter of 120. It does 120 hertz, but that doesn't mean it does 120 FPS.
Yeah, the consoles are doing 120. Like, I don't know where this guy got his info, but it really depends on the game you're playing. Like, I know a lot of the games that I
Don't
have
have
been playing
120.
have a mode for, like, do you want performance or do you want
Yeah.
graphic? And it usually defaults it to graphic, which puts you at 60 FPS and, like, ray tracing. But if you turn it to performance, it gives you 120 FPS and turns down your graphic settings. So,
like Fortnite, right? Like, you
yeah.
lose the lumens and all the fancy graphics, but it runs much smoother. It's 120 FPS.
yeah, so it does have 120.
Yeah.
I don't know, like, this guy played his grandma's Wii and think it was a Series X, like.
I don't know, because he also said he looked into it, and then while I told him that, yes, my PlayStation 5 is running Fortnite at 120, he's then looking into it, and it's like, see, so it does run 20 hertz on certain games, and it's just kind of like, did you really know what the new consoles are doing? Like, I get not liking consoles, but...
Yeah. No, I feel
Because-
like when you talk to a PC person about what consoles are doing, I feel like a lot of it is lost to them because PCs are entirely different things, right? Like,
Yeah.
you're going to get such inconsistent FPS on a PC. Like, I could load up, I don't know, basic Skyrim with, like, a ray tracing mod on it and get, like, anywhere from 60 to 80 fluctuating FPS in certain areas. Whereas on a console, I load up Skyrim on high graphics and that's it. I'm getting, like, a consistent maybe 80 FPS.
Yeah, if I'm pulling up, like, Fortnite on my PS4 even, and almost any season, I was consistently like, oh, I jumped down to 55 FPS from my capped 60. That's kind of the big change that I had. And then, maybe sometimes in 120 I have a little bit more, but even
Yeah.
then, it generally stays.
I feel like
the
on
same.
PC, it's just so much more inconsistent.
whereas
and
when I'm seeing
consoles
people-
are built for
yeah.
consistency. They are not built to reach those high, like, 200 FPS, like, caps that the PCs are built for. But they are built to try and keep you at a certain FPS, right? Like, most PC players, if you ask them, they'll tell you, yeah, I play uncapped FPS. That way it can go as high as it possibly can, which sure does bog down the system a little bit, but, at least they get their FPS. But that means it's also going to reach pretty consistent lows as well. Whereas a console, it technically could reach higher than 120, but they
I mean, we
cap
saw it on my PS4, like, it reached 70 sometimes. It just went shot straight back down to 60.
Yeah, it can reach higher than its caps are set, but its caps are set where they are so that you get a consistent and good experience with that FPS setting.
Because how much money do you think, if I wanted to build a PC to get to the level of having 120 FPS and decent graphics?
Well, my brother for $200 was able to build himself a computer a couple days ago that runs okay. It's not the best. It has a GTX 13 something graphics card in it, and then a Radeon something or other. I don't even know, but it runs okay. No impressive graphics or lighting effects or anything, but he said he's getting a lot of his games at around 60 FPS, which is good. But if you try and up that to, the console graphics that we have today, that graphics card increase and processor increase are
Strong.
going to shoot up exponentially. Because, he got that card on discount and it's still like, what,
Half the
50
price,
to 80
probably.
bucks? And so,
That's generally where most of the money comes from.
yeah. And if you try and buy like the newest graphics card, you're going to be paying like $800 to $900. If you get a mid-tier one, you're paying probably $300 to $400. So if you want to have it the level of a console, the graphics card plus all of the other components, you're probably going to get close to $800 to $1,000 if you're buying new unused parts that are going to be reliable in the future.
Yeah.
And you're going to have to upgrade those as time comes. Whereas consoles are built so that you do not have to upgrade them until the next generation, which is in the end going to save you money than constantly upgrading all of these components.
Like what? If I can switch this out for, I'd say $50 to $80 to a Pro, which then can last me another 4 or 5 years? Because it's just like, you know, electronics, especially nowadays, they're just not built to really last a decade. So if I can say, have a device that lasts 4 or 5 years, and for $20 to $50, I upgrade to last another 4 or 5 years, and then everything's way better, that's just a general good reset for the console too, right? Because everything's constantly wearing down.
Yeah.
Whether that be Xbox, PlayStation, or a phone. If I can cheaply upgrade, why not?
And like, even if you're somebody who wants to play all of the games, PC still isn't, you know, the best idea. Because not only does PC not have exclusives for, you know, some Xbox games and some PlayStation games, but it's cheaper if you just buy both consoles. Like, if I bought a Series X and a PS5, that would be what, just over $1,000, which is almost equal to the price of a PC. I don't have to upgrade either of them for at least 5 years, and I have a butt ton of games that I can play on both. If one croaks, I have the other. Like, it's just a smarter option.
Like, I know people are saying, like, especially for gaming, Mac isn't great, right? People don't get Mac for gaming. But you look at, like, business and stuff and editing, I keep seeing these people are buying the new Mac and stuff because it has, I don't know, I saw it had, like, a lot of RAM. Like, a lot of RAM. Like 100 gigabytes of RAM or something crazy. Yeah. And that's always been better than Windows for stuff like editing for years and business. So if you really want to do gaming and that, would it be better to buy, say, a Windows computer and a Mac for gaming and everything, or it'd be cheaper to buy a Mac computer and a PS5 or a Series X? It's probably going to be cheaper to buy the console than try to build a whole other computer on top of owning this other one. I still very much think consoles are the way to go unless you have the money. Long term, like the streamers, PC is better. I understand that. And I do not, when I think about my PS5 versus getting a computer, that's not what I'm thinking. I know PC is better, but to get to the level that my console have and then be better, it's not worth it, in my opinion. For who I am, for a college student, for having to make my own insurance and everything, I do not think trying to build a computer right now is worth it.
Yeah, it's not as accessible to people as consoles are, you know, coming preloaded and everything. Like, that's ignoring the fact completely that you have to install your own OS on a PC too. It's just not, it's not easy for people if they don't have the time.
And then you gotta keep out on the OS version and all this stuff that can change, whereas how different is the Xbox or PlayStation update that it automatically tells you, here's the software update, do that, and everything changes, versus Windows 10 to 11, something like that.
Yeah.
That was a pretty big change.
It definitely was.
And at that point, I would have just got a PS5 versus a 4, and I wouldn't have to worry too much about figuring anything out, would I? Other than, you know, maybe the UI changing.
Yeah.
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 Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, do you want to talk about, we could either talk about some more handhelds, like the competitor to the Steam Deck, or do you want to talk about some VR? Not go super in depth, maybe just talk about some VR.
I mean, I feel like it's worth talking about VR probably, because a lot of like big innovations have happened, especially in this past year with them. Like, a lot of bigger franchises are moving into making VR installments. Like, I know Assassin's Creed did it. I know there was already a, oh gosh, what was it? I don't know. The one older Valve series.
I don't know.
Half-Life. There's a Half-Life game.
Half-Life, okay.
In VR. Then, you know, you got all your PlayStation games in VR. Oh gosh, why am I drawing a blank right now?
Bro, I don't know what you're going off
the
on,
one
so
with the giant robot dinosaurs.
Ark? No. Horizon?
Yes,
Dawn?
Horizon. Yes.
Okay.
There was a Horizon game, I think, Call of the Mountain in VR. But yeah.
We have FNAF already.
We do have FNAF.
Question. So I know I mentioned that I'm probably not going to get super into VR because as of what I know about my body, I don't know if I can handle it. Do you think you could handle Spider-Man in VR?
No. No, I tried
Now, wait,
Assassin's
wait,
Creed
wait,
in VR, right? And
wait.
that one is just a basic like moving around, jumping from roof to roof. I felt sick after that. Like actually,
Wait.
I couldn't.
I can make it worse. Because apparently there's aim assist on Spider-Man 2
No.
for swinging, and it automatically makes you go left to right. And if you turn that off, you will specifically have to move your character to the buildings on the left and then to the right using graphics, physics. Imagine that with the VR.
So
And
disorienting.
having to
dude.
physically look to the left and then look to the right in order to swing.
It is so disorienting.
Dude, you're gonna have to get one of those like spheres that fully lift you up with like a treadmill or something in order to run something like that.
Yeah.
He's so stupid and amazing.
But yeah, VR is moving forward quite a bit. We had the Oculus 3 come out in this, I think it was this past year, which, you know, is pretty darn good in terms of its technology. It's not like a huge improvement from generation to generation, but it does have some features that people have been asking for. But we also see that, you know, the lifespan of some of our VR headsets has already run out. Like the original Oculus, the one, is dead now. Like you can't use it anymore. I mean, you can, like what's on there, and I think the store is down. You can't use like community features. You can't get in party chats, nothing like that. So if you had a 1, it's pretty much useless now, and you have to upgrade to a 2. So that seems like they're going to, you know, have shorter lifespans than our current consoles do.
And I know you said like there's not too much performance from 2 to 3, but I feel like with something like VR, this isn't something like a software and hardware. It's more like the actual features themselves that we're asking for and trying to figure out because it's so new. Right? Like I'm pretty sure, doesn't one of the new generations also have the face like being able to like transparency mode or something like that?
Yes, both the PlayStation VR 2 and the Oculus 3 have a great pass-through mode where it's like all color and the depth perception is really good. So they've worked on that and improved that a good bit.
So like there's stuff that we're getting added, that's just because it's still so new. This isn't quite the same as the PlayStation 1 releasing when we have all these other consoles.
Yeah.
What do you have to go off of from the VR 1? And do you really want to wait 7 years for the VR 2?
I mean,
right,
here's
like,
the
we're just
thing.
gonna
I feel
keep
like
releasing
VR
them.
is also in kind of an awkward space right now because VR is... I've seen so many different sides to it, right? There's the gamers, obviously, on YouTube. Those of us who watch YouTube know of all the VR gamers out there. You know, you have your
the
setup.
toxic 13-year-olds on Gorilla Tag.
Yeah.
Which is
you,
their number
you play
one game,
those
Pixelated Gorillas.
Those weird VR games, though you have your good ones too. But then there's also the community that's like, I'm going to wear this while I do my chores, fold my laundry, do my dishes. That way I can.
Oh yeah, I've been seeing that
watch
too. Like
things with
people
the
are
screen
playing their
constantly moving
movie
with
when
me.
they're doing dishes.
Yeah,
or
especially with
exercise,
like
right?
the hand tracking needless with controllers, so you don't have to hold the controller. You can just like grab the screen and bring it with you. Like stuff like that is very useful and makes VR more easily integrated with your everyday life, right? And now the only thing they have to target is minimizing the size of the headset on your face. So, you know,
Let's get some glasses up in here.
yeah, it's definitely very different, you know, the sides of VR that we have as opposed to the sides of, you know, consoles we have. So I feel like they're trying to find a good balance for themselves as to what to improve and what to focus on when it comes to VR. Do they want to improve those everyday features, or do they want to make it, you know, a more powerful console for those gamers out there?
Yeah, it's hard. I just feel like yeah, it's hard because we don't really know who the main audience is. Sure, you have the gamers, and that's the vocal audience, but is that really the majority? Are the majority of VR owners playing Gorilla Tag? Or is it the people that are just trying to vibe, have fun, watch movies in VR, right? And another VR that I don't think is released yet, actually, let me look it up, the Apple one, which has a lot of fun stuff too, which obviously not for the average consumer at
With
the price rate.
yeah.
At the price rate, but it doesn't mean it's a bad device. Like, it does a lot of cool things. Like, how freaky how do you feel about the screen on the front to be able to see the person's eyes?
It's weird, I'll say.
It's weird.
It's
yeah.
pretty unsettling, but I mean, it's a step towards being able to normalize it a little bit, I suppose.
Oh, February 2nd. All right. So a month from now, that'll be out. That's going to be interesting. I'm definitely going to check people's reviews on that. That means what? We're the 15th. So I'd say give it like a week and a half, and we might be seeing some people get it a week early or something.
Yeah.
So that'd be something to look out for all of you people that are really into VR. Actually, that reminds me of the eye thing. Did you keep up with the tech conference that just happened?
Which thing? Sorry.
Not E3. It was a big tech conference that a whole bunch of people released their new tech. There was that really futuristic toilet that's like all screens.
I have no clue what you're talking about.
You haven't seen any of this?
No.
Damn. Okay. I've been watching a lot more tech YouTubers, so I've been seeing a lot of shorts. But there is actually almost a hologram that you can use for voice chats.
I did see, I think, the LCD screen, the transparent LCD screen, the first one.
I'm not sure. I saw so much stuff.
I think it was, gosh, who was it? It might have been Sony, maybe? Question mark? That had like the first like almost window screen that like actually glowed, as opposed to like, you know, OLED transparent screens. So, you know, that was cool. I'm guessing that was probably from that conference.
Probably. But I was, what they did was, yes, it's still a little jarring, but it quite literally is a full body, like, video, but it's a hologram. Like, it's a 3D. It's not a screen. It's like a 3D. Obviously, you can't go into it. It's still like 2D because of the current technology that we have, but it's still kind of jarring. But if you want to try to have a more professional Zoom meeting, that would work. And it feels really creepy. It feels like that one scene from, what was it? Winter Soldier, where we just have all the different politicians just in the room, where we just have 3 different pods for the bosses. That's what it feels like. But it's kind of cool.
Yeah.
So just some other, I thought that was really cool, and it's really interesting to see, because it's just one of those technologies that you see, like, One Piece is getting to Egghead, which is really, really, really funny, because I just reread Egghead, right? The current manga arc. And it's supposed to be 500 years in the future. And do you know how much 500 years in the future is?
No.
It's just general Wi-Fi. Because it's pirates, right? Like, they use swords and guns and muskets. 500 years in the future, it's just all this crazy stuff. It's just like, oh, we have this.
Yeah.
Now. But that's one thing that they have, like holograms. And when you think future, you think holograms. And it's just crazy to think that that's where we are. I just saw one of Elon Musk's, like, robots with the really weird, like, faceless one. He was folding a shirt. Like, it had, like, full, like, hands almost, and it's folding a shirt. So it's just kind of crazy because we don't think about that kind of stuff existing right now. But it is. So it's really interesting to see how that goes for all these different things. I'm trying to think, was there anything else with the Apple Vision? I don't think so as of right now. As when it comes out, we'll talk about it more, because as of right now, it's just the stuff that's announced, and who knows what it could do. And we have to really use it to know what it could do too. So... we have like 5 minutes left. Do you want to quickly talk about handhelds?
Yeah, I don't know a lot about the handhelds front right now, because obviously, you know, we have our Switch, we have our Steam Deck. I think Steam Deck was releasing another model. I think it might have been OLED. I'm not positive. But then we have our, you know, our stronger PC handhelds that have been coming out. I think GOG released one, Ryzen released one.
GOG or ROG?
Or yeah, ROG. Sorry.
Okay, I was about to say I wasn't sure if that was a different console or not.
ROG.
That's the big thing. That's the big one I wanted to talk about, the ROG, because I saw how it's just kind of crazy what it could do. Like, you could do, because it's a full PC.
Yeah.
It's not locked to Steam like OS or whatever Steam has. It is a full Windows device.
Yeah, no, it's definitely cool.
Hertz,
it's pretty powerful. Did you see? Does it have a dock?
I'm not sure. I didn't look too much into it, other than just like, even Joey said he got it, actually. He's held it before and used it, then he sold it for a different thing. But he was doing some crazy stuff.
Yeah. No, I think it has like HDMI port or something along those lines where you can wire it into another monitor if you want to. But no, it genuinely is its own PC. My only thing is it's not built to be durable. So, you know, if a part, you know, goes bad, it's probably going to go bad pretty quickly. Especially if you're running games at, you know, the high end that a PC can. Because it's such a small, compact space, you can't really run, you know, uncapped frame rates and expect there to be no damage to the components inside, you know?
What is this? What is this? I look up handhelds, and there is a $1,150 handheld.
Blast?
Like the Steam Deck. What company is it? Kujo One X Player 2.
Kujo?
I don't know, bro. It's a mini laptop, but it's definitely. I don't freaking know. Don't buy that, guys. Just buy what.
Logitech
Buy the
G.
wrong. I don't know, bro. It's from Amazon. It's very much not something you should be getting. Wow, some of these are wild and very, very much photoshopped.
All that comes up right here is like Game Boys.
I'm
Why
surprised
are there
I don't see
so
more
many
of those.
Game Boys?
Because Game Boys was peak. That's like one of the best-selling consoles too.
That's because it was
Of
so
all
easy to
time.
hide under your blanket from your parents.
I feel that. I did that with a phone.
Yeah.
Fun times when you got caught at 10 p.m. because that was way past your bedtime.
Yep. I did that with our Zune.
Dude. But I think it's gonna be interesting to see because again, PlayStation did not succeed with their handheld, but they did attempt to dip their toes in the handheld department. We have the Steam Deck, we have the ROG, we have the Switch with Switch 2 coming out, and I think, honestly, imagine what you could do, you know, like how the PSVR 2 connects with the console. Imagine if you can get a VR headset that connects with one of these handhelds.
Hopefully not wired. That thing will go flying if you move the wrong way.
That's what I was thinking, more opposite, where you could imagine you'd be able to throw like a smaller Switch in your pocket, and that's how you play VR.
Yep.
That'd be cool.
It would be, but, you know.
And then you'd be able to like
who knows?
directly like just click like a button to like kind of like on a Discord, where I could just transfer straight to my console or straight back to my phone. Imagine that with your game, and say that you want to play on your TV, you pop it into the dock and it transfers straight over and it shoots up to 120 FPS and better graphics or something because the dock has it. That'd be awesome, honestly.
It would. But who knows? We'll just have to wait and see.
We'll just have to wait and see. Yo, we'll figure it out the next E3.
Yeah. Womp, 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 womp.
Fortnite emote inserted here. And with that, we'll catch you on the next one. But, Jizzy, what should they do first?
They should follow the podcast and subscribe to the YouTube and follow the social medias.
And do all the things to be notified when we have those other episodes that we teased at the beginning of the episode, because we very much, I think, are going to be looking more into that this week. And we have some other stuff that I'm going to be we have a whole bunch of ideas coming up.
Yeah.
Just make sure you know when we're coming out.
Yep. Ring the bell.
Out of the closet. What? Bye.
What? Bye.